Welcome to the Reflecting Hour with your host, Jimmy, where we talk about such important topics of building back better. Yeah, whatever. Jimmy, time will steal. I'm just kidding. You can take these stupid glasses off. Well, I wish I had good news to report. I have some good news, some bad news. So you guys all saw when I got the motor started last week. Well, it was running like crap. It ran, but it ran like crap. Looking at the numbers, my buddy Mark and I, it was just, the fuel pressure was all over the map. Didn't really make sense. The NOx sensors were going off. We thought, based off looking at everything at the time, that the low pressure fuel pump that supplies the EcoBoost high pressure fuel pump wasn't keeping up. So I went ahead and upgraded the pump to a 340 liter per hour pump, and that's got plenty of flow for anything that I would ever do with this EcoBoost motor. And we put everything back together, went to fire, it wouldn't fire. Now when the motor stopped running last time, it stopped running, it didn't sound happy, and it wouldn't start again, which is never a good sign. So we went through everything. I mean, I replaced all the cam sensors, the crank sensor, checked spark, checked fuel, checked every plug on the motor. I mean, hours spent going through this motor, making sure everything was okay before we tried to start it again. And finally I had this fear of death in the engine. So I busted out the compression tester and threw it on and discovered that not only are all 4 cylinders low on compression, I think cylinder 4 was 90, cylinder 3 completely dead, cylinder 2 about 100, and cylinder 1 completely dead. Now this motor should be doing 150, 160 PSI, and cylinder, they should all be within about 10%. Not the case. So then I busted out my little crappy bore scope, stuck it down in the cylinders, and I found a big chunk of metal missing out of the number 1 and a big crack in number 3. So what we think happened, these 2.0s are really susceptible, can't speak English. Susceptible, yeah, something like that. Anyhow, they're prone to ringland failure. This particular motor came out of a 2014 Focus ST, which, as you can imagine, your average owner in that car is probably not being friendly to it. Probably was over boosted, maybe had a crappy tune. The motor only had 14,000 miles on it, so I never felt the need to compression test it. And the guy I bought it from was a good dude. He had bought it for a Lotus Esprit, never even took it out of the crate, didn't really like his Lotus Esprit and sold the motor to me. But I can guarantee you that whoever did this to this motor knew they did it, and more than likely the Junkyard knew it was bad. And just remember, when the Junkyard says it runs, it runs. This will run. It doesn't run well. So what we believe happened is the ringland in number 3 was cracked, or number 1, one of the two. And when we fired that motor and it started hunting, the NOx sensors were going off, and the ECU was seeing a rich condition in 2 cylinders with a knock. So it was cutting fuel, but the other 2 cylinders were trying to keep the motor running, so it was just going back and forth. And then until finally where the cracked ringland broke off, it seized the piston and the motor shut off. And if I turn this thing over right now, it sounds like a cat scratching a chalkboard. I mean, it's catastrophic. Like I said at the end, I will post the pictures from my bore scope. They're not great, but you'll be able to see, you know, a piston should look nice and uniform on top with some dishes for valves. You'll be able to see stuff's not right. But so where's the positive in it? The positive is I've been busting my ass on this car because I've got an open house this weekend where a whole bunch of my friends, fellow DeLorean owners, are coming out to hang out with me for the weekend, check out the shop. It's kind of a quasi opening of my shop. I'm not quite retired yet, but I was really trying to have this car done for this weekend so that guys could get a ride in it, guys could see it. And man, I've been putting in some late hours. I just put a built from scratch 3-inch TIG welded exhaust. I've got the intercooler system about 50% done. Really the only system left to do, major system that isn't at least mocked up, was the brakes. So I was gonna put some late hours in this week and have the car done. I mean, I'm in the final stages, so as you can imagine, this was a hell of a blow. I was not happy this morning, but you guys have all seen it on the hot rod shows, on all the other garbage YouTube channels like mine that are on YouTube. Sometimes motors just go, and there's nothing you can do about it. I've seen brand new motors bad out of the box. It's nothing I did, but it still sucks. So the good news is all the custom stuff, all the one-off parts to make this work are already done, installed. So all I've got to do is get another long block and throw everything off this motor onto the new motor, put everything back in the car, and it's already wired. It'll start up, everything will be good to go. But it's just time, man. I've got 2 years in this build. Now granted, it was a frame off restoration, which is the majority of the time into it. And you know, I worked full time and I wasn't doing this business. And then when I started this business, now I'm working on other people's cars and I don't have time for mine. So it's just taken a long time. And really the majority of the stuff I finished in the last month, but we'll get her there. So anyhow, for get you caught up on things that are done, you probably haven't seen this. That's what a really expensive blown up motor looks like. But no, it's serious. This there's the exhaust, 3-inch TIG welded, pie cuts all the way back, comes out there 45 degree. This is an intercooler off a 2016 Rec WRX. Only had like, it was low miles. These intercoolers are made by Sandon. I plan on putting a fan on here and also getting some airflow directed to it. I had the passenger side mocked up. I made some custom mounts to mount the intercooler on the back. It's got 4 points of contact. Waiting on couplers to come in to finish that. Threw the rear fascia back on. The good news is when people come to see this weekend, they'll see proof of concept. It worked, it drives, it blew up. So I'll get a new motor in there and we'll get back to where we want it to be. But it's a badass car. It's gonna get finished. What you can see, this is my buddy Cameron's motor. That's a long block. That's basically what I need to put my car back together, but I'm not gonna use his, because that would just be not right. But yeah, I'm just rambling on now because I'm trying to emotionally deal with the trauma of my engine running for 1 minute and 30 seconds and eating itself. But there are some cool things to come in this car. My buddies down at Real Street Performance in Sanford, Florida hooked me up with an AIM dash, and man, this is trick. I decided to not want to deal with all the original DeLorean gauges, so I'm going to run a complete standalone dash. And if you haven't seen one of these before, if you're running a modern ECU, man, look at how small that thing is. Everything the computer knows and displayed into your hands, and you can put all kinds of custom stuff wired into that. You can put your own pictures on the startup screen. It does a lot of cool things. GPS speedo, you can wire cameras to it. Yeah, so we were at that level of doing gauges. But things happen. So I guess in the meantime, I'll throw this thing together so that people can see it all put together with its paperweight of an engine in the back of it. And I'll work on my buddy Jared's Mercedes. And we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. I'll probably be buying a motor within the next 24 hours. So this is only gonna set me back a weekend. So stay tuned. I hope you enjoy my crappy YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe, even if this is the first and only and last time you're ever gonna watch me talk and ramble on about stupid things. It helps us all out, so I appreciate it. Stay tuned and you'll see the pictures of the cylinders. Again, you're looking at number 1 and number 3 just gone. Happy Easter. America, see you next time.